What's going on, y'all? It's the Caveman back at it again with another video. And this week, we've reached the halfway point of the season. Week 8 has just passed us. I can't believe it. Shit is flying so fast. I can't believe how fast the season is going so far. So it being the halfway point of the season, I figured instead of doing a recap video on the last game, I would just kind of recap the entire season up to this point thus far. So I decided I'm going to go over every aspect of our team as a franchise as a whole. I'm going to go over the offense, the defense, the coaching, the management, just everything in general. It might be a little longer of a video, but I'm going to try and keep things moving as fast as I can just to keep the video from running on for more than 15 minutes or whatever it could be. So I'm going to do the offense so far. I'm going to do the positives, the negatives. I'm going to look at some stats. I'm going to see where we are, lacking and where we are thriving. And I'm also going to look at some other things when it comes to, just how games have gone in general. Sometimes stats don't tell the story. So I'm definitely going to look at some games individually and tell you what I think of them. So yeah, offensive positives and negatives. I got defense positives and negatives. And I'm going to lump in some thoughts that I've had about management over the past week or so, since the trade deadline just passed. So I'm going to throw in a couple thoughts along with the coaching. So I'll kind of lump that section together. And then I'll give my rest of season predictions at the end of the video as well, how I think we'll finish, the record we'll finish with, and maybe even predictions going into the playoffs. So without further ado, let's just hop right into this shit. As we usually do, offense first. I'm going to look at the positives that I've seen so far in the season and a couple of stats that I've actually seemed to be very shocking to me, in my opinion. I really hadn't expected some of these stats. And what I mean by that is the biggest stat I actually want to start off with, and this is, I believe, the biggest positive of our entire team as a whole. We actually, just to start off the positives, this is a great way to start, I feel like. We ranked first in the league on third down conversions. That's unbelievable. First in the league with a 51.6 percentage on third down. With 95 third downs attempted and 49 being converted, having a 51.6 is just absolutely bonkers. I mean, to be able to rely on your offense to get that third down when it's needed most, and late in the game, you need a big third down. We have the number one offense to do so. So I think, honestly, that's really the biggest positive that, when I was looking over the stats, doing a little digging, that was what popped out to me the most, especially on the offense. And I think that's the best stat as a whole for the entire team. And although we've slowed down in the last couple weeks, we are still actually 13th in the league with 198 points for, averaging roughly 25 a game. Now, that's really not bad. I think if the offense would have kept up the production they had in the first 4 weeks, we'd probably be in the top 5. Like we were in the first 4 weeks. But nevertheless, we're still winning games. We're still 6-2. So we don't need to have, top 5 most points for to be winning games like the Seahawks do, because their defense is horrible. Although our defense isn't great. We'll get to that soon. But what we're doing, it seems to be working. And we were actually 6th in total yards with 2,976 total yards. And we are averaging just around 372 per game. Again, another stat that's not horrible. You would like to think that Josh Allen would be able to throw for 300, and then maybe we'd be able to get maybe 100 on the ground between our couple guys that we have in our backfield. But, that's not the worst thing in the world. Having 6th in total yards is, pretty damn good. I think, like I said, it's come from the first 4 weeks. But nevertheless, where our offense comes from, it doesn't matter. We just need it to come through in the biggest points. And so far, I think it's done a good job at scoring when it really has to. On that note, I do want to talk about the first 4 weeks. We did eclipse 27 points per game, at least 27 points per game. That is outstanding. We were absolutely exploding. Josh Allen was in talks for MVP race. Stephon Diggs, who still is at the top of the league in receiving yards. Our offense was just clicking on all cylinders. As of late, we all know that it really hasn't, but it definitely hasn't become irrelevant either. It hasn't become illiterate or anything. It's not like it's going out there and going 3 and out every drive. So it's still definitely putting up points. But I would like to see us kind of return to the form that we saw in the first 4 weeks, because we really did not play any slumps. I mean, we played the Jets in the week 1, but other than that, we didn't really play any teams that were just considered slumps. I don't really know where that explosiveness went from the offense. I think Josh Allen's kind of come down to earth a little bit. He was playing just outstanding, like out of his mind, MVP level. He was in talks for it at the beginning of the season. He really was. I think for him to even keep up with Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, that's just something that I really don't think we can expect from Josh Allen at this point in his career. So as far as our offense goes, it's obviously been the part of our team, but they still have had their downsides in the last couple of weeks as well in the 2 losses we had. Of course, we saw an offense that really didn't do very much. And just knowing the Bills, knowing how the Bills are, it's the fucking Bills. There's always going to be negatives. Of course, there will always be negatives. So to start off the negatives, we have actually, as we all know, only eclipsed 20 points once in the last 4 weeks, and that was just recently against the Patriots. We even only put up 18 against the Jets. That's a little bit concerning. Like I just mentioned, I really wonder where that explosiveness went from the offense. I think it is due to Josh Allen kind of falling from grace a little bit. But he's not playing bad by any means. He's just not playing at that level he was, which is fine. We're still winning games. I would like to see them pick it up a little bit more, because when we play those harder teams such as the Seattle Seahawks this weekend, we're going to need to explode. Here's the worst stat I think that we have on our entire team, at least as far as the offense goes. We are actually 8th in most turnovers for an offense with 11 total turnovers. We have 5 picks and 6 fumbles. And I honestly think all of those turnovers have come from Josh Allen. I don't know if any of those have been from anybody else. I really haven't looked if Singletary or Moss fumbled the ball. I don't really think they did. I think Josh Allen is responsible for 11 of 11 turnovers this season. So being 8th, pretty high. I mean, that's top 10. I mean, that's not a good thing. You don't want to you don't want to be high in the statistic. You don't want to be high in the league in turnovers. And having 11 really is not that hot. We really kind of got to turn that down. Like I said, against a team that will be putting up a lot of points, we can't afford to be giving them the ball more than we have the ball. So I'm actually really looking forward to the Seahawks game. It's going to be really a testament to what we are really capable of this season going forward. So not really many negatives to say from the offense. They're still doing their thing. They're not exploding like they were. I've said that about 400 times already. So I think the offense, obviously the best part of our team. I'm going to give them a solid A, just a flat A. I think they've done their job for the most part. Obviously, we've only lost 2 games, and they've been to 2 pretty good playoff teams, I would say. So I really don't think there's much you can say negative about the defense, and I think a flat A is a pretty fair grade. Now comes the defense. And if you've watched my videos over the past couple weeks, you would know that I have defended the defense with all I have, and I've tried my best to defend the defense to every little extent that I could bring it to. And sometimes maybe I'm stretching the truth a little bit, and other times I really feel like people just hate on the defense because it's the thing to do. Statistically, the defense sucks ass, but when you kind of indulge into the games and the way they went and the game script that really unfolded within these couple games, they really have given us a chance at every single game we've won. And even, I won't say the Titans game, but even the game against the Chiefs, they gave the offense a chance to win. The offense just couldn't put up points. And of course, the defense had to make a key stop at the end of the game to give Josh Allen the ball back. They couldn't do that. But you know what? They were stopping them all game, and the offense just couldn't get anything going. So honestly, I do not put that loss on the defense. I put that loss on the offense for sure. I talked about that in that video. There are a couple positives when it comes to the defense. We actually ranked 12th in total turnovers with 4 picks and 6 fumbles and 10 total. You want to be high in this statistic. You want to, for the defensive side of the ball, you want to have more turnovers, obviously. So having 10 on the season really isn't that bad. I think we could have a few more if Trey Edmonds could catch a tip pass. But at the beginning of the year, we were really wondering, like, where are the turnovers? Where's the defense? Where's anything? We really weren't getting much from the defense at all, especially no turnovers. So we've actually kind of really kick that shit into gear with the ball back for our offense, and that's really good to see. And you know what? They just won us the game this past Sunday against the Patriots. They really, really fucking did. Justin Zimmer made biggest play of the game, possibly even the biggest play of the season, because if we would have lost to that Patriots team, there would have been a lot of eyebrows raised. So you know what? Hats off to the defense. I think they have done a fair job for our team, and they've given the offense a chance, but I think that's as far as the positives go. Now, the negatives with all the statistics that I've been looking into, they are pretty bad statistically. I mean, when you have the Chiefs running for 250 yards against you, your stats just aren't going to be good in general. So we actually ranked 10th in most yards allowed with around 358 per game. That's another stat you just don't want to be high up in. We ranked 12th in most points allowed, 24 per game. We've allowed 199 total points. Another stat you don't want to be that high up in. And on the flip side of things, I said that the best thing about our whole team in general, the best stat that I found was that we have the best third down completion percentage by an offense in the entire league. Well, the defense gives up 50.6% of their third down opportunities, and they're actually third highest in the league for that, and that's not good at all. That's really, really bad. They cannot get off the field on third down. 89 attempted and 45 converted, that gives them a 50.6. That's really bad. The defense needs to do a better job of getting off the field. I think that's my biggest concern about our defense. We play a bend but don't break kind of defense. We just got to be able to get off the field when we get the opportunity. We had a lot of teams, once again I'm bringing up the Chiefs game, we had a lot of chances to get the Chiefs off the field when they were running all over us. They got to a lot of third downs and we just couldn't seal the deal and make them punt or make them kick a field goal. Although we did a couple times, but there were a lot of third downs that Mahomes was just able to find a guy that fit into his zone or somehow just made a great play. It's just, we got to be able to get off the field on third down, and we really struggle to do that. And I think as good as it is for the offense, it's actually our weakest point for our defense as well. And of course, how can you not mention all of the injuries that we've struggled with, especially on the defensive side of the ball? I mean, Matt Milano missed a couple games, Trey White missed a game. We haven't had Levi Wallace, Josh Norman's missed games. I mean, we've really been banged up on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm not going to put an excuse as to why the defense hasn't been playing up to par, but it definitely hasn't helped us because we lack some depth in some areas, especially on defense. And when guys are getting hurt and guys that should not be on the field are on the field, cough, AJ Klein, cough, it's kind of tough to play defense. You can't forget about special teams. Now, Corey Bojorquez has probably been our best player on the team. Like, that's not even a joke. That dude has been hitting moon balls. Like, he has been punting the ball 70 yards, like, consistently. He's hitting that shit to the moon. He has put us in fantastic positions for defense to start drives on defense, and he really has been a fantastic punter this season. Now, for Tyler Bass, he started off not too hot, and sometimes we forget he's a rookie, so we got to give him some slack. But he's really turned it around. I think that Jets game gave him some confidence. I think he's going to start hitting more field goals, be more consistent, deeper down the field, you know, come up clutch when we really need him to. And I think Tyler Bass has really stepped things up for us too. So my overall grade for the defense, I'm going to give them a B-. Now, I think it would be a little higher if the statistics weren't so bad. I honestly, like I said, I'm one of the biggest defenders of the defense. I really like to give them the benefit of the doubt. But the stats just don't lie sometimes, you know. So I really couldn't give them any higher than a B-. I think they've given us chances to win games, and they have, and we've won games because of them. We just won because of the Patriots game. We had a chance in the Chiefs game, but the stats just don't lie. I think a B- is a fair grade for the defense, and hopefully they can really start to turn it around as the season progresses. Now, the last part I want to talk about real quick is the coaching and the management. The positives are that the coaching in general has been, I think, pretty good. The offensive play calling, aside for the Jets game at the beginning of the year when Josh Allen was running for 14, 15 carries, it's been pretty damn good. I think Brian Dable's done a really good job. I hated Brian Dable going into this year. I hated him last year. I thought he was a bonehead dumbass, but he's actually done a very, very, very good job this year. And I got to, tip my hat to him because he's doing a great job with what this offense has done thus far throughout the season. I mean, for example, after we just beat the Patriots, it came out that Brian Dable had scripted to just run the ball against the Patriots because he knew they were going to be coming out in a lot of 7 defensive back sets and nickel and dime and all those kinds of shits just to stop Josh Allen from throwing the ball deep, and he knew that. So you know what we did? We ran all over him with our running backs and used a little bit of Josh Allen. That's exactly what we did. And for Brian Dable to be able to make that kind of adjustment for a team like the Bills that haven't really run the ball all season. I mean, we've been a pass first team a majority of the season. For him to make that kind of adjustment and that kind of shift is, pretty damn smart. You gotta really, really give him the thumbs up on that one. The defensive play calling, although I feel like people, were kind of calling it out, Leslie Frazier was being questioned. I've come to the conclusion that it's not Leslie Frazier's fault at all. It comes down to the fact that we just lack execution on the defensive side of the ball. We just don't have the guys in some areas to make plays, and even if the play call is right, it doesn't mean the play is going to be made because sometimes you just don't have the guys. And I think the execution is really what has been making the play calling be questioned, and that's really not, I don't think that's Leslie Frazier's fault. Now, I really don't have any negatives for the coaching, but the negatives for the coaching / management kind of section of this is the fact that the trade deadline came and went and the Bills were silent. We watched every single player that we could have gotten for cheap go to teams that needed the same positions that were good teams, such as the Steelers getting Avery Williamson at a position they need. They lost Evan Bush to an ACL tear, I believe. They traded for a linebacker. Obviously, we weren't going to get Avery Williamson from the Jets in an intra-division trade. I understand that. But the principle is the fact that a good team is getting a need. They're trading for a guy that they need at a position they need desperately. And we didn't do that. We have a lot of holes on the defense. There were other teams. Desmond King, he sold for fucking dirt to the Titans. They needed some secondary help. He went to the Titans, a team that is looking to win a Super Bowl. The Bills, we're getting to that point. We're looking to win a Super Bowl. We need to make these kinds of moves. Everson Griffin, for some reason, I don't know why Detroit is trading for Everson Griffin. Who fucking knows what they're doing? But they still made a move for him. They got him for dirt cheap. And we could have used a guy like Everson Griffin. There were just so many guys that went that I was just like, no, Bills could have got him. Bills could have got him. Bills could have got him. Just no moves were made, and I was just stunned. Good teams make moves when they need them, when they're trying to win. Good teams fill the gaps that they have, and we didn't do that. And we saw just all of the other good teams fill their gaps, and we just sat back in the corner and watched it all happen. I mean, Kwan Alexander went to the Saints too. I mean, I'm not really sure what that trade was. I think it was like Kiko Alonso in a fifth or some shit like that. But either way, it's just, like I said, good teams are making trades for players that they need at positions they need, and we just didn't do shit. So my overall grade for the coaching and the management section, I'm going to give it a B. I think, obviously, if we would have made a trade, it probably would have been an A+, but we didn't do that, so that significantly drops it to a B. The offense and the defensive play calling have been good. It kind of just falls on the front office not really doing anything, which I wonder whose decision that was. That's kind of interesting. I wonder who that falls on, who was making the push to not do anything, if anybody was agreeing to try and get something going. But who knows? That really doesn't matter. But the fact that no trade was made, I think, really is what drops it shit for me. I think we absolutely should have made a trade. Obviously, you could probably tell that. And the last part I want to touch on real quick is my rest of the season predictions. I originally predicted that we would finish 12-4 before the season started. I had losses to Kansas City, Seattle, San Francisco, and Steelers. So far, we obviously lost to the Titans. We lost to the Chiefs. We're going to see what happens with the Seahawks this coming week. But I do believe that we still do have a chance to go 12-4. I really don't see us losing to any of the teams we play in the near future. Other than the Steelers, I can see us losing that game. And I still think the Seattle game will be a very good game. It'll be a toss-up that I do think potentially we could lose because we just won't be able to keep up with that offense. Other than that, I mean, we really don't face anybody that is that good where I feel like we just don't have a chance or we're not the better team. I think we're the better team in all of the rest of our matchups. I mean, I would have said the Chargers, but I mean, they just can't hold the lead for their lives. The Broncos have not been healthy, so there really aren't any other games that I feel like we aren't the better team. I think we're the better team for the rest of the majority of the season. So with that being said, I think 12-4, my original prediction still stands, even though one of the losses came to the Titans, which wasn't what I predicted in the first place. But I do think we pick up a win against the 49ers now because they're so banged up, and that replaces the Titans win. The Steelers game, that'll be another good game, and that'll be a toss-up that I still think we'll lose, but like I said, I don't think they're that much better of a team than we are for us not to have a chance. So yeah, I'm being optimistic. I think 12-4 is very realistic for this football team. I think we are a team that's starting to play to the level of our opponents, and that's a good thing, but also a bad thing, you know, when we play a team like the Jets. Obviously, I feel like that game wasn't really close, but we weren't playing good football by any means. But then we stuck with teams. You know, the Raiders are a good team this year. No matter what people want to say, the Raiders are a good team. We stuck with them, put them down. The Rams, even though they made a miraculous comeback, we still put them away. The Dolphins have come to be a great team. We beat them. I mean, we have played good teams and we have beaten good teams. So I don't think the narrative exists that we can't beat good teams because we have beaten some good teams. And I think we stuck with the Chiefs for the most part too. The offense just couldn't get in the end zone. And had we gotten the end zone maybe once or two more times, we easily win that game. The only game that was somewhat a blowout was the Titans game, and I think that just got out of hand at the end of it. So they just kind of got the momentum by the end of the game and just started pouring on points and made it look a lot worse than it seemed. Aside for that game, I mean, I believe that we can win every single game going forward, and 12-4, I believe, you know, is realistic. So with that all being said, I think the overall grade that I'll give the team as a whole thus far, with the offense, the coaching, the defense all being factored into it, the management as well, I think a B+ is a good grade so far. I don't think that the defense is really helping the case here. I don't think not trading at the deadline is helping the case here, in my opinion. But the offense is really keeping it afloat. I think that the coaching has done a very good job. Individual players, Stephon Diggs, very great job so far. So I think a B+ is very fair to say. And like I said, I think going forward in the season, we have the opportunity to do some special shit. And, you know, the grade that I have for the team going at the end of the season could potentially flip if they just really flip the switch. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you agree, disagree, let me know your thoughts. I'm really interested to know. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And I'll see y'all later in the next one. Peace.